Welcome back to another episode of Pass and Me Pod. I'm your host Dominic, and of course joined by my co-host Aaron. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Back with just us two this week after we had a guest on last week, ZK, to talk about the state of Chelsea and
Yeah,
everything else that happened last week in football. So if you missed that episode, I'd say you definitely should go back and watch that before you listen to the rest of this one. But this week's episode, of course, we're gonna talk about the games from last week. The biggest game of the weekend course, it was the Arsenal Liverpool game. 3-1 to Arsenal at the Emirates. Of course, two of your title rivals this season. What did you make of the game? A little scouting mission for you. What are you saying?
interesting, man, bro. That game, crazy. That game just like highlighted to me how good Arsenal can be. Like, bro,
Mm,
they especially without the ball, like out of possession against Liverpool. Liverpool looked lost. Like, obviously they didn't have Salah. They didn't start Nunes either, so that kind of takes away from their sort of like threat in behind because you have like I think it was Diaz, Jota, and Gakpo that started. It's like
yeah,
they're not really like hitting the sort of that sort of ability to like stretch the opposition like and with them runs in behind. I don't think they've got that to the extent of like a Darwin Nunes would have. I think that's I think that's something Liverpool really missed, but it's like, I don't know, even still, like that performance for someone of Liverpool standards, gosh, it's like they would get the ball and they just like within like a few seconds, it would be gone again. Like it was crazy. It was really, really good. Saw some really good performances from the midfielders, from Jorginho and Declan, particularly. I think them two were great, great against them. I don't know. It was a funny game. It was quite a funny game. Like when you look at all the goals that were scored, it was like these are not real
they're
goals.
not
Like
real
that,
goals.
yeah. Like these are not real goals. Like you're seeing a mistake between Saliba and Raya, like miscommunication or whatever. And
Mm.
then I think the other one
Van
was it
Dijk,
Van Dijk?
Alisson.
Van
Yeah,
Dijk
Van Dijk.
Allison, yeah, for the Martinelli one. And then even the first goal of the game, I'm pretty sure, which was the one where
First goal
Saka
was the
scored.
Diaz one.
It
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no, sorry,
Saka.
first Arsenal goal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Saka
Yeah,
goal.
yeah, yeah. That one. Ah, like it's like they tried to press Arsenal high up, and then I don't know, it's just like Van Dijk's just like lost. Like I think he had a really poor game. Like he was just lost.
Mm.
Like he stepped all the way up, massive space in behind, and then Havertz is through and goal. He missed. He got lucky that Saka's cleaned up for him, and it's an easy goal. But bro, I just thought it was crazy. Like the goals you were seeing, it's like these are not goals you'd expect to be seeing in like this fixture. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
with the teams of this quality, and then even the last goal, it was like Trossard. I'm pretty sure. Like
Mm.
Liverpool got a red card, obviously. Kanate got sent off, but it was like they had no right back whatsoever. Like Diaz was basically right back, but he wasn't really playing right back because obviously they're trying
Yeah.
to win the game. And then it's just like Trossard just glides past. I think it was like Harvey Elliott and Diaz, I think, on that side or something. And
Mm.
then all of a sudden he's running at the goal, and you're thinking, yeah, like this is Van Dijk, bread and butter. And he just shoots and it goes through Alisson. Just like wow, like I don't know. It takes a slight touch off Van Dijk's foot, but still like it's like the goals that were scored. It's like this is not what you'd expect from
Yeah.
like these mistakes are not what you'd expect from teams of this quality. Like it was, but all in all, it was a great game to watch as someone who I actually wanted Arsenal to win because I've seen Liverpool's fixtures. I don't think they're dropping points anytime soon. But it was a great game for me
Mm.
to watch personally, man. I enjoyed it a lot. I can't lie.
Yeah, yeah, nah, it was definitely a good game. I was really impressed by Arsenal's approach, to be honest. I think in possession, the way, like you said, for the first goal, the way they kind of just played through Liverpool, you had like Ødegaard and Havertz in between the lines, and it was causing a lot of problems for Liverpool's defensive structure. I think it was McAllister that was like the deepest of the midfielders out of
Yeah,
possession, and like it was Ødegaard and Havertz on either side of him, and he basically was just outnumbered there. He didn't really know who to close down. If you close down one of them, the other ones through on the other side, and we saw it for the goal, and they kind of worked their way across, and they obviously finished it off. And I think Arteta's clearly learned quite a bit from the past few games with Liverpool this season. I think they played in the league at at Anfield, and they took the lead quite early. They were quite good at the beginning of that game, And I think it was a similar start here last week, and I think to be honest, it was really Salah that kind of got Liverpool back into that game earlier in the season. And of course, he wasn't in the team, so they kind of took that opportunity and ran with it. I think, yeah, out of possession, as you said, Arsenal were really good at closing down Liverpool, really aggressive in their press, stopping them from progressing the ball. You mentioned Jorginho. I think he was really good in this game. I think the partnership with him and Rice in midfield it's kind of like a perfect balance because Rice is obviously the more physical presence in terms of defensive, covering ground. He's got the athleticism, and but he doesn't have the kind of progressive passing side to his game. And you kind of saw the last couple of weeks on Twitter, Arsenal fans kind of, or just people in general, getting on to Declan Rice saying that he's not the most progressive player, but that's never really
Yeah,
been his game. And I think Arteta now bringing in Jorginho, sit next to him and kind of make those progressive passes and speed up the play when it needs to be sped up. Really helped them in that game. Um, I think yeah, it's definitely an interesting one for the title race though. I expected Arsenal to win the game, but I wasn't confident that they would win the game, if that makes sense. Like especially after Diaz's goal, or was it a Gabriel own goal? I was like, because
yeah, whichever way. Yeah,
that was really Liverpool's only chance in that half, like their only proper chance in that half, and it was from like a miscommunication between Saliba and Wright, and I was just thinking like Arsenal, not like again, are you really gonna let it slip like this due to your own mistakes? But
yeah.
fair play to them. Obviously, they battled back in the second half, performed a lot better. Fixed up. Liverpool made their own mistakes, and they capitalised. Kanate sent off. Obviously, helped the result for Arsenal as well. But in terms of Arsenal though, like, what do you think? What do you think? How do you think they can build on this performance with their upcoming fixtures? Like, they, of course, are still behind both you and Liverpool. And this has probably been, I'd say, in a big game, you probably say it's one of their better performances this season. Do you think that they can carry this on and really mount a title charge like they did last season, or do you think they're kind of going to drop off? It's going to be more of a two-horse race between you and Liverpool.
It's interesting. It all to me, it all kind of depends on what they can do from here. Like, because for me, when you look at early in the season, like they beat us, for example, at the Emirates. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they drew with Chelsea, I think, and I think they beat United as well, if I'm
yeah, they
remembering
beat us at
correctly.
the end.
So it's like they're not. They drew with Tottenham as well. Like it's not like they're really struggling against the big teams, in my opinion. It's more like games like who was it they lost to recently? I think it's West Ham
Fulham,
beat them
West
recently.
Ham, yeah,
Fulham, like it's these sorts of teams that are troubling them. So I don't know. I think that's going to be the test if they can replicate this because when they're going against like the way that Liverpool, like Liverpool for their first goal, Liverpool tried to press them in like a 4-3-3, like they normally do against their sort of like 3-2-5 build up, whatever. And it's like
yeah,
they just like played through them basically. Do you know what I mean? When you go against like other teams that are like lower in the table, maybe mid table, like for example, if you play like I don't know, like a Crystal Palace or like someone of that caliber, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna
mm,
make you like earn your buckets. You know what I mean? They're gonna camp on the
yeah,
edge of their box and really defend like tight. Do you know what I mean? They're not gonna let you have that sort of space to try and play through them and try and win the ball high. So I feel like that's where it's gonna really come down to that. Like with this system that they have with I think I think with Havertz as like the sort of furthest forward midfielder, Odegaard a bit deeper, Rice, and then you've got Gabriel Jesus whenever he comes back from injury up front, and then Martinelli and Saka on the wings. I think this sort of system that like we've been like kind of criticizing this season, it's going to really come down to if that works or not. Because if they
yeah,
persist with that system and it doesn't work, and they're struggling to break down teams that are playing in like mid-low blocks, for example, then it's just like I don't know. Like I don't see how they can win because there's only like so many big six teams you can play against that are going to try and win the ball high up. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? A majority of teams are gonna really sit back, and then they've still got to come play us at the Etihad, for example. Like I don't know. It feels like to me, it all depends if they can sort of I don't know if they can kind of unlock this sort of vision that Arteta has had for this team and the way that he set it up. But I personally, at this point, I'm not sure I would say they would. I think it's still going to be like a Liverpool Man City thing, in my opinion.
Okay, no, fair enough. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus was injured first game. Havertz up front. There was a mixed reaction to his performance on Twitter. A lot of people were kind of saying he was one of Arsenal's best players. Obviously, important for the system, helping them play out and play through Liverpool. And a lot of people were kind of not really feeling that. Basically, kind of like what he didn't really do much. It really impact the game. Wasn't really on the ball too much. Wasn't really effective with his touches. Where do you sit on it? And his signing overall, I think Arteta is kind of he's kind of stuck to his ways. He's stuck with Havertz this season, despite the rough performances and what people have been saying. And of course, it was a big price tag. He came in for like 65 million from Chelsea. And I mean, at the time he signed, looking at the way Arsenal played last season, there wasn't really a clear plan for where he was going to fit in the team. And of course, now Arteta has changed the system to kind of accommodate him, and Arsenal are playing differently because of it. But what do you make of the signing and his performance in that game? Like, where do you sit on the side of him as a player?
I'm not impressed. I think everything that I'm seeing now is just the same as it was at Chelsea. Like it's not like he's taken like any big leap in development or anything. Like to me, he's just the same player he was at Chelsea. And I feel like, I don't know, the player he was before Chelsea, for example, like maybe if they were buying him to try and be that player from Leverkusen again, then I mean, I guess I could understand that. But it's like he hasn't become that player from Leverkusen. He's still the same Chelsea Kai Havertz, where it's like doesn't really do much, doesn't really have much like intent. Like even when he got that chance where Saka scored off it, like I saw him go through on goal, and I was like, he's not scoring. Like I just knew he wasn't scoring, and then he hits it at the keeper, and then Saka obviously cleans it up. But I don't know. It just feels like to me, I feel like they've got it wrong. Like, and to be fair, recently it happens quite a lot. Like managers get things, or not managers, but like clubs get signings wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many like big money transfers have we seen that it's like between like 70 and like 100 million? It's just like it's like the player, like not even like the player isn't like profiled right. Like for example, Pogba wasn't used correctly and other issues like that. It's not like it was never a question of Pogba's quality because we knew he had the quality. He was showing it in the national team. But it's like to me, I feel like it's just situations where it's just like a bad assessment of like a player's quality. For example, like Maguire. Like Maguire's, in my opinion, not the what like I think it was like what 80 million at the time.
Yeah,
Like that's not what I would have said Maguire's quality is at the time. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
yeah,
it's just one of those situations where like they've overpaid for the player, and I just feel like I don't know. It happens a lot recently, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting what they do with him because now obviously you see lots of links to Tony, lots of links to Osimhen, and it's like all the things that like the analysts on Twitter and stuff were saying. This is what Kai Havertz will do. This is what he does, or they're even saying that he did against Arsenal. It's like these players, Tony and Osimhen, the ones that they're linked to now, they're actually going to do that and score goals with it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like winning the aerial duels and stuff and being able to provide that sort of that target man aspect or the aspect to sort of like be an aerial threat or dominate a box, for example. Like all these things that it said that Kai Havertz was going to do, now they're trying to sign Tony and Osimhen to do. And these players have shown they will do it, whereas Havertz is like, there's no real evidence of him doing that. Do you know what I mean? So I
yeah.
don't know. I think overall, I think the signing's just kind of like a bit of a failure right now. But I don't know. I mean, it's only 6 months into his time, I guess. But I don't know. Like from where it is right now, I don't see like what his role is in this team, like going forward. If they sign like a Tony, for example.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. To be fair, I think obviously with what a lot of people on Twitter, like the analysts, the advocates for Havertz are saying is like the aerial duels and winning it, bringing other players into play. I just don't think you needed to spend 65 million on him to do that. Like
Yeah,
you could have gotten someone for 25 million who can do that job. Like I don't
yeah,
know why it had to be Kai Havertz, and I don't think, as you said, he's doing kind of a lot similarly to what he was doing at Chelsea, and I don't think the Chelsea Kai Havertz was like the best version of Kai Havertz. If you go back to like Leverkusen when he was this number 10. He would come into the box and score, create chances as well, get on the ball. He was all right in tight spaces. He had a nice first touch. He could get on the ball in deep areas and knock it around as well. Like we're not seeing that here. And like if Arsenal were buying him to kind of recreate that, I'd understand 65 million. But you have Odegaard in that role, so he's not going to come in to do that. He's coming in to win headers and knock the ball down and bring other players into play. I just don't think you need to spend 65 million on that. And I don't think they've seen that much of a benefit overall because of Havertz's signing. Like I don't think like when you spend 65 million on a player, especially after the season they've had, right, where they're in the title charge, and they miss out really to their own fault, kind of slipping up the last few games
Yeah,
of the season. If you're going to spend 65 million pounds on a player, that needs to be the final piece. That needs to be someone who's going to come in and push you guys over the edge and like clean up all the mistakes, kind of all the problems that you guys had previously. I just don't think Kai Havertz has done that, to be honest. I don't know whether it's the way they're using him or it's just the player himself, but yeah, I don't know. And as you
I
said, with links to
yeah.
Osimhen and Tony, like those are guys that are going to come in and they're going to do everything Kai Havertz is doing and put the ball in the back of the net. So
I agree. And I feel like one thing that I know something that it kind of like makes me think about is like Weghorst when he signed for you guys. I think
mm,
it was like a loan and it was like 3 mil or something like that. Something
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
like insignificant. And it's like I don't know who between Havertz and Weghorst, I'm not gonna like say who's better because I don't know who's better between the two. But like he came in and the sort of theory around Weghorst was that he was gonna be like a stopgap signing for you guys as striker, just like to do a job. Like he will just hopefully score a few goals. He didn't really score that much, but like hopefully score a few goals, win some headers, hold up play, bring others like Rashford into the game and stuff like that. I feel
yeah,
like that's the amount of money that you pay for someone to do that for you. Like you pay like a 3 million loan fee for some. You don't pay 65 million to get that. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the sort of things that they're getting from Havertz right now is not something that you can pay 60 million for. Like when you pay 60 million, you pay for a player that does like that's sort of like the bare minimum to me. Like that's the way I
yeah,
look at it. I feel like that's the bare minimum, and like what you pay them the money for is like the premium quality, like the things that he can do on top of that. Like if he has
mm,
really good um link up play with his back to goal, for example, or he's a really good playmaker, or he's like a really clinical finisher. That's what you pay the extra money for. You don't pay that
yeah,
just for the base level. That's the thing that sort of doesn't really make sense to me. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the transfer fee at least. And
yeah, yeah,
also seeing that I seen like I think last week that he's the top earner as well at Arsenal. Gets the
yeah. That
most
came
wages.
out
Yeah, it's crazy.
crazy. Mm. So the contract negotiations for them, man, is gonna be interesting at the end of the season. Saka
Saka's
might ask for
asking for
another new deal, you
500. He's asking for
know.
500, bro. 500k.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Um, but yeah, no. So moving on to the next game, we got City versus Brentford. Obviously, you guys 3-1 win. Um, carrying on. Foden hat trick, of course.
good man.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me. What are your thoughts on the game? Obviously, Foden was he started with KDB, but he was very much central for most of the game. So yeah, how did you find the dynamics working between KDB, Foden, even Alvarez was there central as well. How do you find that working in that game?
I didn't like it actually.
Mm,
I think this game helped me come to a big realization. Like after the game, I was talking to some of my boys about it. I came to such a big realization. Like I thought the formation was terrible. So obviously we had KDB, Haaland, Foden, Alvarez, Bernardo Silva, and Guardiola all in the front line together. So it's just like I don't know. I feel like our normal formation we play like sort of like two number tens, a striker, two wingers, and then two midfielders behind them. And it's just like there's enough space, there's pockets. You know what I mean? There's space for everyone to contribute. In this game, because Alvarez is behind Haaland, Foden's just a bit to his left, and KDB's just a bit to his right. It's like there's no space. Like as soon as Foden receives the ball in the pockets, he turns around. Alvarez is there, Haaland's there, KDB's there. But on top of that, all of their markers are also in that area as well. So it's like
yeah,
there's not really any space for him to actually be that. that sort of damaging. And I feel like it's kind of, if you look at the goals we scored, like Foden's first goal was literally from like a failed clearance, and then his second goal is literally a KDB bit of brilliance, like a beautiful cross into
Yeah.
Foden, and the third goal is just like improvisation from Foden and Haaland. He lets the ball run, runs off him. Defenders aren't quick to it, and he scores the third goal. It's just like, to me, I thought it was so, I don't know. I mean, in theory, I guess I can understand why Pep did that. Like, he wants more sort of like to sort of like be a bit more dangerous against them. But I feel like it's just overkill. Like, I felt like it would have worked in theory, but it's just like there was no space for them to actually be dangerous. And it had negative repercussions as well, because Grealish and Doku are both on the bench. And one thing that I've noticed about Bernardo Silva is that he doesn't really, even though he played on the wing for us last season, he doesn't really like, he's not someone he doesn't really have that burst. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
even compared to Grealish, like he doesn't have that sort of burst, like
Yeah.
where he can like like pull a defender out, or go past the defender and sort of like disrupt their back line. So when Gvardiol, who's basically a centre back, and Bernardo Silva getting the ball in the wings, it's like the defenders are not even bothered. Like, they don't care. They're not going out there. They're say, yeah, come to us. Like, we don't care. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And realistically, that's why you see. I know KDB was getting a lot of heat on Twitter for his crossing numbers, which, to be fair, I think he took like 11 corners that game, but still, like, every single, like, the only method of like chance creation is Bernardo Silva call KDB over, come over like me, put it in the box corner, put it in the box corner. It's just the same thing every time, because it's
Yeah.
like Bernardo Silva's like, if you put someone like Doku, for example, on the wing, and defenders are scared, they're gonna like try and
Yeah.
defend. You know what I mean? He can drag players out, can beat a man, can disrupt the team. But to me, it felt like there was no, it was just so narrow. Like, everything was cramped in the
Yeah.
middle, and the players out wide, it's like nothing's happening. And then also going the other way, which is probably my biggest problem, has been the whole season. Rodri is just isolated the whole game, like literally the whole
Yeah.
game.
I was gonna say that.
Julian Alvarez is sometimes the guy tracking back who's a striker. Like, why is he with Rodri? Like, do you know what I mean? Or sometimes it would be like Foden tracking back. It's like there was no set person to help Rodri in transitions. It's just like he's by himself every single time. And I don't know. It just, to me, it was just a bit of a mess. I don't really enjoy the performance, I'll be honest. But I love to see Foden getting a hat trick.
Mm.
And I don't know. I think as for the actual the actual realization I had from this game is that I feel like Pep sort of, I feel like, okay, let me start with this. Haaland in that game, he had basically like a free one-on-one with the keeper. Like, they made a mistake
Yeah.
and he didn't score. And this season, Haaland's underperforming his XG. Like, he's not really been in great form in terms of finishing. Like, this season is, I'd say it's mostly been about his overall game sort of developed a bit, but he's not been like performing the way he should have. And to me, it's like Haaland will guarantee, like, Haaland right now is not performing and he's still joint top scorer in the Prem. Do you know what I mean? So to me, it's like Haaland's base level is so good that it's like, even if he's not performing, it's still enough to get us by. And
Yeah.
with me, I think some of the reasons that I'm really like harsh on Pep and critical of Pep is because I want my favorite players to succeed and have the team succeed as well. Like, I want
Mm.
us to be winning games because Haaland, KDB, and Foden are destroying teams, or
Yeah.
we're playing well, playing them off the park. I don't want to see us win
Mm.
games because Kovacic is holding the ball for 60 minutes, meaning that they can't attack us. Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like I came to sort of a realization, because Harden, literally, apart from that chance, he didn't really see the ball for the rest of the game. Like, that was literally
Yeah.
basically his only chance. And it's like, we could help get Haaland into form. We could play him in a bit more. We could do other things to like give him more chances. But it's like, he would come into form off that. But it's like, I feel like he sacrificed the floor, the base level of the team doing that.
Yeah.
Like, you put it at risk, because if it goes wrong and we lose the game, then do you know what I mean? So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I've been a bit harsh on Pep, because now you look at it, like, I think this season, like, we've made so many mistakes, we played bad in so many big games, and we're still in the title race. Like, we win our next game and we're basically top. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like I just learned a lot from this game, but I never want to see that sort of that three number tens
Yeah. I was
in
gonna
behind
say.
Haaland. I never want to see that again, man. That, nah.
Yeah, no, I was. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching it, and I was kind of. I don't know. Pep's whole thing is like width, make the pitch wide. Like he
Yeah,
loves his wide players, and he just kind of funneled everything down the middle. As you said, it was like three number tens, and I just kind of obviously it worked, but I kind of just didn't really understand why. And then Rodri was there, kind of by himself, isolated because you had Bernardo Silva wide right, and then you had Guardiola wide on the left. There was nobody like inverting to kind of make like a pivot, and it just kind of felt like to me while I was watching the game that like I don't know, against a better team that can hit you guys straight down the middle, like as soon as they win the ball back, like
yeah,
it could be long. So, but
yeah,
I do want you to talk about Foden a bit. Obviously, a hat trick, and Pep said some nice things about him after the game, talking about his development and how like he's learned to kind of slow the ball down a bit more, have some tempo. He said that not everything has to be an action. You know, what I mean, he understands now that he can make a sideways pass, keep the tempo of the game, and then in the right moment he can spring into life and kind of make something happen. And yeah, obviously a lot of people have been kind of critical, you could say, on the way that Pep has handled Foden throughout his development at City. Like, and I guess I understand that you've got this supremely talented footballer here, and of course everybody in the country wants him to succeed because it's someone that people are saying is like the most talented English player since Wayne Rooney. Do you know what I mean? And Pep's kind of used him at times sparingly in roles that were not necessarily his favorite role. Like he's played left wing, he's played right wing, he's played false nine, all to a very good level. Um, but yeah, how do you think Pep's overall? How do you think Pep's handled the development of him? Because he said at the end of the press conference that that Phil can lead the other ones, kind of hinting at the fact that he's going to be the new face of the team. And if you look at this season, he's probably been the best player in the Premier League, to be honest, overall. If you want to look at just the performances, not even talking about the numbers, just the performances from game to game and the way he's won your game. I think like, against Everton as well, he turned it on away from home when you guys were struggling. So yeah, how do you think overall the development of Foden has gone under Pep?
um, I'd say good. Literally right before this game, I was actually saying that I think we're starting to reach. We could be looking at mismanagement level. I can't lie
Mm,
because before up until now, like I think he's used them well. Like didn't loan him out. He kept him around the team from like during like 17, 18, like he would play like the occasional like cup game or something, and
yeah,
like occasional maybe Champions League game, he'll get a few minutes off the bench and stuff. Like he's kept him around. He's kept him learning from like David Silva, KDB. Like he's handled him well. I just think my thing has always been that Pep has like Pep has this thing here of like sometimes he goes way too safe, and then like the players that like one thing I always think about, and this always comes to me, was during 1920. And in 1920 season, like the second half of the season, Foden and KDB were basically our best players. Like no
mm,
one else was playing good. Well, Mars was somewhat playing good. Sterling somewhat playing good until like the Leo miss. But it's just like Foden and KDB were like by far like our best players in that period. And then when you look at, I think the following season, is it? Yeah, no, not the following season. I think it's the season after that. But still, like when we played Atletico Madrid, that was one of like our toughest knockout games ever. And
mm.
Foden didn't even start. Like Foden was on the bench, and then he came off the bench literally like 5 seconds as soon as he comes to the bench, takes the ball in a half turn, plays in KDB goal.
Yeah, I remember
And it's
that.
like
Yeah.
that's been my main criticism of Pep is that like he's sort of like I don't know. To me, he's always thought like Bernardo Silva is a better player, and he still thinks Bernardo Silva is like our best player in my opinion. Like
Mm,
to me, if Pep was to be honest and you ask him who's our best players, to me he would be saying Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan are our best players last season. That's what I think he would say. Because the way, to me, it feels like the way in which he treats and views like players like, I don't know, like KDB or like Foden, it's like they're good, but they have imperfections or whatever. But to me,
mm.
I feel like in the biggest moments, whenever it's been like we've needed him to step up, KDB stepping up and Foden stepping up. Bernardo Silva does step up too from time to time. I'm not going to lie. And obviously, Gundogan did step up in the title race. You know what I mean? But it's like in like the biggest matches, like Real Madrid away, it's Foden and KDB that are doing all the work. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? In our biggest games, like Man United, you wouldn't say maybe like it's Real Madrid knockout, but it's when we played in the derby last season and we beat you guys, Foden scoring a hat trick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the biggest games, when you need players to turn up, they're turning up. And then when it comes to even the smaller games, for example, you mentioned Everton, where we struggled a lot and Foden just like sort of dragged us through. I think there was a game against Leipzig in the Champions League. Foden was amazing, played left centre mid that game. And then the following week, we'll play Tottenham, we'll play Man United, we'll play Chelsea. And it's like Foden's on the wing again. Do you know what I mean? To me, that's been my main criticism. It's like he should have been, even though you could say the questions about Pep wants him to have a bit more control, he wants him to sort of slow down the game a bit more and speed it up at the right times. Still, regardless of that, I still think Foden should have been given not necessarily more minutes because he played enough minutes and he does. I know he has had a few injuries in the past, but to me, it's just like in the games where we need someone to step up, he's shown he can step up. So why do you still not like trust him in those games? That's been my main criticism. It's like he shouldn't be dropping like a man of the match performance against Leipzig in the Champions League to then on Saturday being played left wing against like Aston Villa. Like that's just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me personally.
Yeah.
That's my main criticism, is that he should have been rewarded. But I think overall, in terms of development, I think he's handled it well. Like he has all the things before he was saying about like he needs to learn how to slow the game down, his temperament, this and that. Like you can see it now. Like compared to, if you watch him now compared to like, I don't know, in 2021, for example, like you can see there's a bit of a difference. Like he does have that sort of the thing that Pep's wanted him to add. So I mean, fair enough. As long as this season, I guess now this is what's going to be like. It's going to come down to is that this season is Pep gonna use him correctly? Is he gonna play him with KDB, or are we going to get to Champions League quarterfinals and he's playing on the right wing? Yeah, do you know what I mean? So that's what it's going to come down to ultimately, because I think with him and KDB together, like in the tens, like I don't know who's going to stop us with that. Like, but yeah, that's just my 2 cents tonight. I don't know. What do you think about Foden and Pep's sort of relationship right now?
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think over the years, obviously, he's played in a bunch of different roles, and I just kind of see it as Pep trying to teach him certain things. I feel like, I don't know. For me, I just feel like Pep has always known, obviously, Foden's best role, and I think the role he probably prefers the most is in the middle. But obviously, with the quality that City have, you need to have certain qualities to be above those guys. Do you know what I mean? And the way he plays, of course, well, the way he played when he was younger, it was more kind of just go get the ball every time, I'm gonna make something happen. And Pep wanted to kind of teach him that bit of temperament and temper and stuff. And I think at times I think at times he kind of dragged it. Like there have been times where like Foden doesn't need to be doing left wing shifts in terms of like recent seasons. But I think overall it's worked to his benefit, because I mean you look at the performance against Brentford last week, and it was a complete like number 10 performance. Do you know what I mean? Everything you would have wanted from there. You mentioned the fact that obviously the players were narrowed together. There wasn't a lot of space because of the markers being dragged in as well, but he was still finding pockets, finding areas, and obviously he's a good technical player, so he can work his way out of situations. And I think, I feel like Pep has managed it to the best of his ability, while still obviously trying to go and win things with the players that he has. Do you know what I mean? Um, and yeah, I take your point about what you said about Bernardo Silva and Gundogan kind of being Pep's favorite players. I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of the way Pep likes his midfielders, though. Like keep the ball. Do you know what I mean? Safe with it, but you know when to speed up when you need to, comfy in possession. And Gundogan and Bernardo Silva also have incredible work rate as well. Like let's not forget that that would have also been a reason as to why they'd start over Foden. So I feel like, I don't know, Pep probably would see them more as like complete midfielders, whereas Foden and KDB are your guys that are going to affect the game in the final third. So maybe that might be why he kind of favor them a bit more. But that's just my view on the situation. I feel like he's managing quite well, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah. So moving on to the other side of Manchester United, West Ham 3 win at Old Trafford. back-to-back wins in the Premier League for the first time in I don't know how long. First time we won a game at Old Trafford by more than one goal this season. I mean, February, which is
Really?
crazy to say. Yeah, yeah.
Gosh. Not even a 2
But
0 win. Damn.
yeah, bro, not even a 2-0 win, bro. We always concede. If we win that game, we're always conceding. But yeah, no, it was nice to have a clean sheet. Good good performance. I think I liked it was a bit more controlled. Even Bruno was a little bit more controlled in terms of passing. It wasn't every time he gets the ball, it's got to go forward. There were times when he was like, okay, we need to keep the ball, keep possession because West Ham gonna hurt us in the counter attack and in set pieces. So if we're trying to go forward and trying to rush the ball forward, like it's like saying quickly take it forward, the quickest gonna come back. Do you know what I mean? So I like that they kind of understood that tempo, calm the game down. Hoyland with another good performance, 4 goals in his last 4 games.
My boy,
Really
man.
nice finish as well. Yeah, man. Nah, he's putting it together. You can see it in real time that he's putting it together. Nice finish with his right foot. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've been really impressed to be honest with his all-around game, like his link up outside the box, his dribbling, even his passing. Like he'll drop deep,
Yeah.
receive the ball with a defender on his back, nice turning. He'll play in someone like Rashford or Garnacho on the wing, can nicely weighted pass. Um, and yeah, he's a good dribbler as well that helps with carrying the ball forward. So yeah, I've been impressed with his development in recent weeks. Garnacho brace, off the right wing again. I think for me, I'm happy that he keeps performing on the right wing because it means that we don't have to see Anthony, to be honest. Um, that guy, I don't want to see him touch the pitch again, to be honest. But yeah, no, Garnacho on the right wing. I like how it makes him play differently because he can't just cut in and shoot. He has to be more he has to be more intelligent with what he's doing. And I think ultimately that's going to aid his development when he goes back to the left, and he'll be a more of a complete winger. I liked against West Ham, he was looking for Willem more. Like you could see that they're really trying to work on that relationship. Um, Tried a couple of times to get the ball into the box, wasn't always successful. But one thing about Garnacho is that he's just going to keep going. It doesn't matter. It's like he's running at a fullback, like a AI, like a bot. Like he doesn't see who it is. He doesn't care. He's just going at them. It can be, I don't know, it could be Prime Maldini. It doesn't matter. He's still gonna go at them. It doesn't knock his confidence every time. So yeah, really impressed with his performance as well. Dallo, another one I gotta say. This season, to be honest, I mean, a lot of people have been saying it recently, but this season's probably been our best player. Well, we've not really had a lot of good players, but he's been very consistent for us at right back. I think he's really kind of solidifying that spot ahead of Wan-Bissaka now, um, which is something that I would have wanted him to do like a while back. To be fair, I feel like if you look at Dallo's attributes, he should be he should be clear of Wan-Bissaka. To be honest, he should be the clear favourite when you look at what he offers in possession going forward. He's not a bad defender. I think this season he's improved a lot defensively in 1v1s. Um, Good at winning the ball at the back post as well, which is something that's a weakness of Wan-Bissaka's. Good at carrying the ball in the midfield. He's good at inverting and kind of making up the numbers there. So yeah, it was a good performance from him again. Kobe as well, again, another good performance. Just added that calm. As I was saying, we were a lot more calm on the ball against West Ham. It wasn't always forward. There were a couple times that I'm even seeing Kobe gesture to Bruno and Casemiro like calm down, calm the play down. I'm like, this guy's 18, telling our senior players not to rush the ball forward. We've got a 5-time Champions League winner here, and he can't help but rush the ball forward. But yeah, nah, another good performance from us, another good win. Not gonna get too carried away with these guys because they've shown me who they are before, and it can definitely all come crumbling down. But I think for us and for Ten Hag really for the rest of the season, he needs to just focus on winning and actually putting out good performances because I think with Ineos coming in and they're really going to make changes during the summer, I think it's going to be around now, to be fair, that they're going to make the decision on whether they're going to want to keep Ten Hag or find someone else. I think it's going to be in the next coming weeks because, of course, they're going to want to plan and set up a proper transfer window if they are to get a new manager in. So if Ten Hag wants to keep his job, then he needs to keep the performances coming, the wins going, and
Yeah,
just see kind of where that takes us in the table. Because I think we're sixth right now, 5 points off 5 points off Villa, I think, or maybe even more actually. I think it might be like 8 points off Villa actually. I think if we beat them, it'll be 5 points off them.
have
But
you
yeah,
got
we
them
still got
next?
yeah, we've got them on the
Oh,
weekend, so still got a way to go. But two back-to-back good performances. Can't really complain too much, other than the fact that Lissandro is going to be out for a while.
yeah, I saw
That
that.
one, that's
And I saw that in real
good.
time. I was like, bro, I was like, surely that's not like surely that can't be him going like down like for real. And he got up
Oh,
and played, and he came down. I was like, oh damn. I like Lissandro, man. He's good. I like him. Good player, man.
yeah, bro. He like the difference in our team in our build-up play when he's in team when he's out of the team is actually night and day. Like the way
Mm.
he can find those line breaking passes so easily, and it's like he's always composed on the ball when he gets it in whatever situation. I always back him to turn out, or do you know what I mean? Find a way out of the situation. He's comfortable on the ball, and yeah, now it's going to be a big miss. It looks like it's only going to be. I think people were saying it's only going to be like 2 months, which is better than what we first feared because obviously I think it's the same. It's like the same area that he had the injury previously. That he was out for a while, and then I think we rushed him back for the start of this season. Got injured again, did the surgery this time, recovered. This one's not going to take surgery, which is obviously good news. Um, and yeah, nah, it's weird to be honest because he's not an injury prone player at all. Like he's not had a history of injuries, and all of his injuries I think have been contact. Like the one on the weekend was like Kufal falling on him, so it's just kind of unlucky. But yeah, hopefully he's back soon and
Mm.
can continue helping us because we're definitely going to need him going
What
forward.
so for Villa, because I seen Villa's game against Sheffield,
Mm,
and it was like half an hour in, it was like 4-0. Like the fans started leaving at 2-0. It was like 2-0 within like 10, 15 minutes. So the
that's
Sheffield
right.
fans started leaving, but only a few. And then the third one went in, they started booing. And then when the fourth one went in, they actually started leaving. Like if you watch like around like the 35th minute, like a timestamp of like just the stream, you'll see like the fans were all basically gone. And I don't know,
Um,
that was a really dominant performance. Also does to me seem like Sheffield are like they're going. I
done.
feel like Sheffield and
Yeah.
Burnley are the two guaranteed. I think, in my opinion, they're going down. But um, as for Villa, very strong performance. But then I know they did play, I think, FA Cup or Carabao Cup, one of the two against Chelsea,
FA Cup Chelsea.
and they
Yeah.
did lose to Chelsea. So I don't know. What do you think? Are you confident to beat them on the weekend, or I don't know?
It's a it's a weird one. I think for me, it's what Man United turns up. Do you know what I mean? If we build on our last two performances, I'd say the first half against Wolves was really good, and then I'd say the majority of the performance against West Ham was pretty good. If we can build on that, then I feel more confident. Obviously,
Mm,
Villa have their high line which we exploited in our reverse fixture against them at Old Trafford, coming from 2 goals down. Um, and I reckon the front three will probably be the same: Rashford, Hoyle, and Garnacho. Those guys will get in behind and kind of create chances there. So that obviously is a positive for me. Though, if you look at the reverse fixture, our 2 goals, both of them from set pieces. I think I know one definitely was. I'm pretty sure both of them were. And even against West Ham, the set pieces had me nervy, man. Every time Ward-Prowse was stepping up to take a corner or a free kick, I was bro, because I don't even know. Our set piece defender has been a shambles
yeah.
this season. But yeah, I don't know. Villa is a weird one in recent weeks. I don't know. They've kind of taken a bit of a dip. Like against Newcastle, they weren't really that great to me. I thought they were too narrow in that game, and they didn't really pose much of a threat at home. So obviously that gave me confidence going into our game against them. But you never know, man. I feel like we need this win, to be honest. It would be huge for our hopes for Champions League if we want to qualify for that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I back the boys though. I think we can get a result there, a win, and if not a draw. But yeah,
Okay.
But moving on though, to Spurs Everton game. Obviously, this game had a lot of implications for both sides of the table. Everton at the bottom, Spurs kind of pushing towards Champions League spots. 2-2, Everton equalising in the 90th minute. What did you make of this game if you caught it, and kind of what do you think this means for both teams' seasons, this result?
Um, I don't know. I thought I watched the first half. No, I watched until about like 55th, maybe 60th minute, and
Yeah,
I don't know. It's one thing I will say is I think Richarlison got a brace. Richarlison
yeah,
recently has been in great form. Like he's been in really good form recently, and I don't know. I didn't see this in him actually. Like last season, I did not see this in Richarlison, but he's. It looks like I don't know if he's really like. Obviously, I think Son. I'm not sure what's happening with Son. They might have got
he's
knocked
at
out.
Asian Cup.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they got knocked out or if they're still playing,
Oh,
um,
okay.
but Son when he comes back, like if they can have like Son, Richarlison both firing for them, and then at the
Mm,
back now they've got Van der Ven back, great
yeah,
defender, and then they've also got Madison. He just came back. He wasn't really that great in my opinion in the Spurs game, but he's getting back to it at least. Like this is probably like his second game since coming back from injury, and I don't know if they can have them all firing again, like all at the same time, like they could really push on and like they could really qualify for like serious Europe. Like you never know, late UCL charge, like it could happen. I
mm,
can't lie. 'Cause I don't know where they are right now, but I'm pretty sure they're just outside UCL spots.
yeah. They're fifth, 2 points off Villa, who
Yeah,
are above them.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it could be. I wouldn't go as far as to say like title race, but I feel like they could
Mm.
have like a strong finish to the season if Richarlison can maintain the form. But when Son comes back, and Madison get back into it again. Um, Not too sure about not too sure about I wouldn't say not too sure about because I think he's a great keeper actually, Vicario. But I've been seeing
Yeah,
recently they've been making noise about him on set pieces. They're saying that teams have been
yeah,
targeting him and they're cooking him. Like when we played against them, our goal was literally from a set piece, like just pinning the keeper and just put the ball on him. And teams are basically doing the same thing and scoring. So I don't know. It's making a bit of noise, but I'm not sure if it's just a coincidence or if it's something that actually like holds weight. What do you think if you've seen any of that?
yeah. Obviously, you guys got the goal, Ake, to knock them out of the FA Cup. But Everton scored twice from set pieces. I think the first one was more kind of on him. I think you'd say like there was a call to say whether he got fouled. I know it's an interesting one because I think for me he's probably been the best, if not the best, top two goalkeepers in the
Yeah,
Premier this
I
season
agree.
for sure.
I agree.
I think he's been unreal just out of nowhere as well. But I don't know, he does look a little bit lightweight, and I think teams have kind of realized that, and they're kind of trying to bully him on the set pieces. And I mean, a team like Everton, they've got so many physical players. You've got Calvert-Lewin, you've got Brentford, you've got Anana didn't play in that game, but you've got the likes of him. You've got Doucouré as well. Didn't play in that game, but guys that are going to cause you problems, kind of from set pieces in those situations where the ball's in the air and the keeper's under pressure. So I don't know. It's a weird one, but I don't think it's too much of an issue yet. Um, I don't know. I think you guys obviously did well to exploit that at the end of your game and get the win. With the way that Everton play, they were always gonna do that. Like that's not. I don't think for them it was a specific Spurs tactic. Like they're always gonna try and crowd the keeper, be a nuisance in the box, and that's gonna be tough for any goalkeeper to deal with. To be fair, so yeah. But what do you think for Everton though this season? Obviously, a point at home to Spurs, not bad. I think that yeah, they're just in the relegation zone right now, 1 point behind Luton, but Luton do have a game in hand on them. Obviously, they've had the 10 point deduction this season,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't know, they had the 10 point deduction, then they kind of went on a run of like winning games. It was like everyone was united. Sean Dyche leading the charge. Recently, it's kind of been a bit up and down. Do you think they've got what it takes to stay up?
I think sadly they won't. I feel like
Okay.
they won't. I don't know. Recently I've been buying into the Luton hype. So I think
Yeah,
Luton will stay up. And I think Sheffield and Burnley are nailed down as going down, in my opinion, as I said earlier. So I don't know. I think over the course of the season, I don't think they'll have enough. Not gonna lie to, and it is. I don't want to say sad. Well, it's not good to see like a club like Everton that are like one of the historical teams. I think that have never been relegated. Like
Yeah.
them to see them go down, but it's like I don't know. It's like without that point deduction, bro, they would be in this conversation right now.
Yeah,
But
they'd be comfy mid-table. At a point deduction, they're 12th behind
yeah,
Chelsea,
yeah.
which is crazy.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I don't know if it'll be enough. Not gonna lie. I think they'll have to go down, which is it's tough, isn't it? It's tough. It's sad that like
Tough,
the
but
ownership has sort of screwed them over. Because even if you
yeah,
look at, besides from like whatever like rules they broke, like if you look at the actual like ownership and like the investment they've been making, like the players they've been buying has been terrible. Like over the last like 5-6 years, like I remember I think they spent like 30 million on like Tosun back in the day. They spent like another
yeah,
30 on someone else. Like they used to just buy loads of players and they just used to flop. And it was just like, I don't know. I feel like they've been let down a lot by that, and they've done well to even stay in the Prem right now. Because I don't know, man.
yeah. Nah, it definitely be sad to see them go, but I can't like relegate them, man. Give me Jack Brown for 45 million from the Championship. Give me that. Give me
this
that.
guy,
Yes.
this guy's
Um,
worried about Brentford. That's his main priority, Brentford.
bro, Luton
I'm
got to
saying,
stay up, man. I bought the Luton hype from last season, bro. I
I
said they'd
never
stay
bought
up.
it.
And in the first episode of this podcast, I told you they'd stay up, and they're doing
I,
it, man.
I thought they'd be dead bottom, man. Honestly, I thought they would be so bad, but I can't lie. It's because I didn't really watch Luton and Championship like that, and the style of play that they're playing now shocked me. Like they're playing like
Yeah,
pretty good, like good football. Like it's not like rubbish.
yeah. So I guess transition to the Luton game then against Newcastle was a
Yeah,
4-4 at St James's Park. I caught bits of
crazy.
this game, but not too much. But that is a wild result. Um, Adebayo back at it again. Barkley doing what he does. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a crazy result for Luton, to be fair, to go away from home and kind of perform like that. I think they were 3-1 up at one point as well, or 4-2 up. There was a two-goal difference at one point, and I was like, yeah, like they're actually gonna hold on and do it. But Harvey Barnes came off the bench, did well, got a goal to get Newcastle back in the game. But yeah, man, I don't know, the way Luton play for me, it's just you can tell. I don't like all this passion merchant talk in it, but you can tell the players want it. Like they're fighting for every ball, every duel. Like they might not have the technical ability required to do certain things that other players on other teams can do, but they keep trying for the full night, and I think it yields them results. To be honest, like they're always in the game, always causing
Yeah,
problems for the opposition. So yeah, that's obviously a great trait to have for the team, and they do have quality in areas as well. Ross Barkley as well. A lot of people have spoken about this season. Benny's
yeah,
been really good for them this season on the wing. I've been impressed with him when I've seen him. Adebayo as well in recent weeks has come on form, scoring goals, and yeah. But for Newcastle though, this would be a poor result for them, man. 4-4
at home.
Luton, yeah, at home, shocking. I think that's yeah, 1 point from their two games against Luton this season because Luton beat them at home, at the Kenilworth Road. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you saying about Newcastle this season right now? Because they're sitting in ninth. Um, quite away from the top four from where they were last season. So what are you thinking for the rest of the season? Where can they really get to?
We'll have to see. I don't know. I seen Gordon, I think, came off injured. I don't know how long he's out for, but we're gonna
Mm.
have to see what it comes down to because some of these players, man, some of these players are these
They're
guys are
not
not
good
it,
enough,
man.
man.
Bro, they're just not. Like Almiron, Callum Wilson. I think I'd probably say like Murphy, Longstaff, even though they've performed well in some games, like I feel like they're just not at the level. Even I'd go as far as like Joe Linton. I think he's injured right now, but like Joe
Yeah, he's
Linton,
injured. I think he's been very good for them this season. But
yeah, but
I do know what
I
you
don't.
mean.
Yeah, like when you see like Bruno Guimaraes play, it's like I think I made a tweet about it. I was like, you'll have like Gordon, Isak, and Bruno Guimaraes, and they'll be on the same sort of understanding. Like they'll pass each other, they'll know when to play a pass, they'll be combining, and then you'll have like the ball goes to, like Joe Linton, and maybe his first touch isn't like as perfect as it should be, and then he goes in flying to a tackle and then gives away a foul. Now they have to go back and defend. Like it's just like things like that. It's just like I don't know. Like the players, like I think Joe Linton's a good player and he's done well for them, but I feel like he's just not on the level of like Bruno Guimaraes or Gordon or Isak, which is like players that can like start for like top three teams in the league sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's the level. Like for them to want to reach like top like Champions League, I guess football. Like I don't know, like someone like Diogo Dalot, in my opinion, can start for like. I think he could play for us. I think he could play for Liverpool. Like I feel like he could play for the top teams. You know what I mean? And I feel like for them to be like at like your sort of level, even though I don't know if you're above or below them right now, but like for them to be like that sort of like top five, top four team, they need to have those players that can like boost them up. Right now, I feel like they just have the three, like Gordon, Bruno, Isak, and Isak is injured sometimes. Gordon, sometimes he doesn't play well, or sometimes he's injured. I don't know, but it's just like they don't have enough of those top players that could fit in at other top clubs, if that makes sense. Like them sort of difference makers, I guess you could say. Like they don't really have that many. Like most of their players are just kind of average, and then there's the top ones that are helping them to stay up. But I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see, especially with this this Trippier stuff. Trippier's people saying Trippier's trying to leave. He's declining a bit. There's a lot of talk about him, and he's their captain. I think Pope isn't back until like March, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they really do. I think right now they're like around like ninth maybe. Yeah. Interesting. But as for Luton, I saw one like interview. I think it might have been after this game, and it kind of like made me realize like the way sort of like Luton have been like kind of branded as like obviously it's not really an attractive place to live. It's not an attractive like club. Like it's not like a Real Madrid or something like fancy. Like I don't know. Like if it was like Inter Milan, it's like, oh, that's kind of fancy. Yeah, Luton's kind of like a stale. Like it comes with the idea of just like 4-4-2, 5-5 at the back, or just who fits. When you listen to Rob Edwards talk, like you can tell he's quite like a progressive sort of like manager. Like he's like a real like modern manager. Like he was saying, like I know like right now we're not in a position where we don't have the quality to like to try and like play like I don't know, like play through teams, for example, play at the back, or like sit back in our own half and sort of like grind out results and stuff. Like we know we don't have that quality right now because we're like new to the league and we don't have the players for it right now. So because he knows that we need to go out there, he's like, we need to go out there, and the main thing, we need to be brave. We need to go out there and like try and win the ball high, try and like stop. It's kind of just like he was kind of just speaking like kind of like it was very like progressive. Like he was speaking like you need to go out there and like try and win the ball, and what did he say? He said something like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically he was just saying like we need to stop things from being a problem until they like become an actual problem, if that makes sense. Like instead of sitting back on our own box and conceding like however many goals, as you see like some teams that are probably in the relegation battles right now do. Like he was like, let's go out there and be brave and try and get
prevent
something
it from becoming an issue before we have to deal with the issue.
And I really liked that. Like when I listened to that interview, I was like, rah, like this guy's serious. You know, I can't lie. This is a manager. Like this is someone where all you need to do is stay in this season, and Premier League money is ridiculous. Like the amount you get for like finishing, like I think bottom three in the Prem is like way more than like most other leagues, like top four. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the money they'll get is ridiculous. Like all they need to do is stay in a nice little 15th place finish this season, and next season they can really like hope to establish themselves in the league. I can't lie.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think what you're saying on Rob Edwards is interesting. I think it's kind of the way he has approached Luton's journey in the Premier League is kind of opposite to the way Company has in a way as well at Birmingham. You're kind of seeing how that's going over there. Like they obviously played amazing football in the Championship. Didn't they get the record for points? Or
Yeah, I
they
think
got
so,
got the record for points playing free flowing football, and I don't know. They kind of expected that they'd be able to repeat that in the Premier League, and I think they've been. I mean, clearly they've had a hard time of it. Bottom two right now, and it does look like they're going to go down. And I don't know. I think when you make the jump from the Championship to the Premier League is so big in terms of obviously the quality of your opposition and also the speed of the game. And I just don't think you can play the same way. Like that's a breaking championship team. Like by points tally, the best championship team ever. And you're seeing how they're struggling trying to repeat the same play style in the Premier League. I think you have to kind of I don't know if swallow your pride is the right word, but you have to
Yeah,
look at it and say, okay, we're not going to be able to play the exact way I want to for now, but our main goal for this season needs to be stay in the Premier League, and then we get the money, we can build on that over the next coming transfer window with signings, and we can eventually work back up to playing a similar level to the way we were playing in the Championship. But I think to come into the Premier League and just play the way you were playing in the Championship is, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's really the way forward. And yeah, and then quickly on Newcastle, I just wanted to say, um, because you were talking about the quality difference between the quality in the players, guys like Bruno Guimaraes, and you look at someone like a Jacob Murphy, for example. I think it's the interesting one because obviously when they got taken over by Saudi and they were making signings, a lot of people are very complimentary about the way they were moving in terms of like, oh, they're not going out and signing the big obvious names on high wages and burdening the club with debt and etc. But I don't know if they've done enough in the transfer window for like I feel like when I don't know it's tough to say because obviously they did sign Tonali who's been banned so that's unfortunate.
yeah,
But
that's a big
you
one.
qualified
Yeah,
for you qualified for the Champions League last season. Like I don't know. I feel like you should look at that as like that's where we want to be now. Do you know what I mean? We want to be a Champions League club or in and around the top six. And I just don't know if the transfer window reflected that sort of ambition. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Of course, Tonali is a big sign, and what happened to him was unfortunate. But but there were other areas that I feel like needed to be addressed, like left back. Dan Burn is still starting for them. Even depth in midfield and in the forward lines. Like if they've had a lot of injury problems this season that they've been complaining about, but you know you need to sign players for depth. Like everyone gets injured, you know what I mean? You need players on the bench who can come on, and there's not going to be a crazy drop off between the level um, between them when they're interchanging. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting because of course where they finish this season will then determine kind of the players that they can attract next season. And you know, if they're in ninth right now, if they finish ninth, they can have all the money in the world, but they're not going to get the top guys. You know what I mean? Or the best players that are
yeah,
available to them.
yeah.
So yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting one for Newcastle. But moving on to our next game, of course, Chelsea and Wolves. 4-2 victory for Wolves at Stamford Bridge. Mateus Cunha hat trick. He's been on fire this season. Yeah. What did you make of this result? Obviously, again for Chelsea. We spoke on their difficulties last season, but another disappointing result. Leaves them I think 11th in the table. So yeah. What are you saying on that?
I seen a stat. It wasn't a stat. I seen like a graphic, and it was like Chelsea now and this time last season, under Potter. I think they're 3 points better off now than they were last season, and I think two more goal difference ahead from last season. So like for all that investment and all the changes that's
Yeah,
happened, they brought in Lampard interim, they brought in Poch, they brought in XYZ player. Like it's barely any difference. Like it's barely noticeable. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I feel like that kind of says a lot about Chelsea at the moment. Like I don't know, just was like the same story every week. Like what's going on here? And I don't know. It's I don't know. It's a weird one, man. I don't know. I didn't watch the game, but as for I seen a few of the goals. I think it was Caicedo. Was it Caicedo? I think it was Caicedo gave like a really nice assist to I think Palmer,
Yeah, for Palmer, but then he
and then
lost
like
the ball for the goal
yeah,
that Wolves scored right after.
yeah. Like I don't know, man. It's just a mess right now for the also um yeah. Apart from that, I don't know. I feel like it's just the same story every single time with Chelsea. But also in terms of Wolves, Mateus Cunha hat trick. He's been doing very well this season. And I don't know, my criticism of him has always been sort of the same thing. Like when I watch him, it's like it's kind of like Gabriel Jesus, but like completely like worse. Like his general like technical ability and stuff is good. Like he can dribble, do
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But as soon as he gets into the final third, it just all goes out the window. Like he just doesn't have like, I don't know, the composure or like decision making to make like the correct through ball in behind or finish the chance once he's done all the hard work. Like I don't know. To me, it's just that's always been my criticism of him, is that like he can do it until it gets to the final third and then he just doesn't do it anymore. I don't know. So but now this season, when you look at the stats, like it looks like he's putting up serious numbers, like serious numbers right now. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens from here. If he can maintain this, Wolves might have a chance of becoming like a proper serious side. Like I was even looking at some stats. I seen like compared to last season, their current stats right now, like him, Sarabia, Neto, who's the other one?
yeah,
There's one other one. I can't remember the other one, but there's one other player at Wolves. I think Huang. You look at their
yeah.
numbers, and all of
He's
them are
good.
much higher. They're much higher than they were in the whole of last season. Like I think the manager's done a good job so far with what he's been given. I don't know. It could be interesting if they can get back to the who was the manager originally when they
Nuno,
first
as when they were in like
Nuno,
Europe and
yeah,
stuff. Nuno.
yeah,
Yeah,
Nuno. If they can get back to those levels with Raul Jimenez is the star
yeah,
striker.
man.
If they can get back to that, it'll be interesting, man. Because I don't know, Wolves interesting team, man. That's how I sort of think of Wolves. I don't want to see Wolves like how they were last season, where it's like losing basically every game, man. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. When they first came into the Prem, they were a fun team, and I mean, you look at their squad now. They've got good pieces. Like, of course, you mentioned Mateus Cunha, Pedro Neto, Huang. Got Sarabia. I'm not sure if that's a loan or a permanent deal.
mm.
You've got Lamina, who's been good this season.
Yeah. They
Joao
signed his brother.
Gomez. It's not his brother.
Yeah, apparently his brother was at PSG. Apparently he's quite good. They just signed him the other day.
Older or younger?
Younger, he's like 18 or something.
Oh, damn,
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, no, they've got a good squad, so you'd think that. And at the beginning of the season, they started quite poorly. I think it was the result against you guys that kind of like gave them a little bit of a boost. They kick started the season a bit, but yeah, no, they with that win, they've gone above Chelsea in 10th now. And yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they can do and kind of how they're gonna build onto it next season, um, going forward. But yeah, final Prem game we're gonna cover is the Crystal Palace versus Brighton game. Um yeah, no, what did you make on this game? 4-1 win for Brighton.
yeah.
I think there's yeah. What do you think?
That's a derby, man. Brighton Palace. That's a
Yeah, bro.
serious derby, and getting beat like that is not good. But I think my main talking point on this game
Mm,
is Roy Hodgson. Yo, times are not looking good for him, man. It could be
boy.
over soon. He could be
Yeah,
he could be looking at sack seriously soon, because the fans are like really not happy with the way
that
the team is
funny.
going right now. They have a decent amount of quality in that team. Like they have Anderson and Gahey. Mitchell is really underrated left back. They got Eze, they got Elise, they got Mateus Franca, they got Ahamada. I'm pretty sure what's his name? Decore. I'm pretty sure Decore is injured. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Yeah, I'm not
but
seeing
there's
it, but
another one, I can't remember who else. And then they've got good young players like Raksaki, who's a really good winger. They've got like a really promising team. But when you watch them play, the football is not good enough. And it's like
yeah,
he's not using the quality well enough as well. That's another thing. And the fans are all complaining about it. Now, in the last game, where Eze and Elise had like a masterclass, I'm pretty sure they both got injured and came off, like just like a precaution, innit? And then in this recent game, I'm pretty sure it was like 3-0 down or 3-1 down or something like that. And they brought on Elise at the end of the game. Like the game was finished.
yeah.
They brought on Elise and then he got injured. And now they're saying Elise is out for minimum 2 months. And it's February. So that's practically the whole season out now,
Yeah,
because he brought him on in a game that was already finished and there was no need for him to even play. Like he could have just rested. I don't know. It feels like to me that's that. And then on top of that, Gahey's also out now. I'm not sure how long for, but Gahey's out. And then Eze is out for a few weeks, is what they're saying. So
the
I
big
don't know.
news.
Right now, basically the three like best players in the team practically. Like right now, it could be, yeah, I don't know, because the way they've been playing right now with these players in the team, imagine now when they don't have these players in the team, then what are they
Yeah.
going to do? Do you know what I mean? And that's when you start talking about like relegation battles and stuff like that. That's when it starts
Mhm.
getting spooky. So I don't know, his job could really be on the line. Like I would say like three more, maybe two, three more like losses on the bounce, and I think he's gone, not gonna lie. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. Whenever I watch Palace this season, it's kind of always seemed if Eze or Elise doesn't like, don't do anything, like there's not really any threat there. And yeah, and as you said, they do have good pieces. Like they should be performing better than they are anyway. And yeah, no, so it's a weird one. Do you see what Roy said after they asked him about the Elise substitution? And he was just like, like the medical staff said he was fine to play. If they didn't say he was fine, I wouldn't have put him on. Like he was a
Oh,
proper like snappy response. So I don't know. He's definitely feeling the pressure. Injury
yeah,
for Elise is of course unfortunate. It's kind of rough the way that the whole situation's been dealt with. 2 months out, hamstring. I believe he was out with a hamstring
yeah,
injury at the beginning of the season as well.
yeah,
So hopefully that's not like a recurring problem for him. You know, Elise has been one of my guys from championship young
yeah.
player of
Keith Yarde. So,
season at
and
Reading, bro. I've had
but
stocks invested, bro, and
I never forget. I got that screenshot somewhere of it was Elise versus ESR. Who's a better player? And you said
bro,
Elise. Everyone else said ESR. And I was like, say no more. We'll see.
I know, man. I got the vision, man.
Stocks. But he's been good. Probably been like one of the best wingers in the Prem this season, if not the
Yeah.
best. Like he's been really good.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm really yeah, I'm impressed with how development's been going, to be fair, and it does seem like he's ready to kind of take the next step in his career. Sounds like with the links and everything that he's probably going to make the move in summer. Hopefully this hamstring issue isn't a problem that we need to be worried about. Yeah, hopefully. Because I mean, like why are Palace managing like this? Like, bro, do you not want him to flourish? Like, come on. I feel like, yeah, I don't know, man. They're trying to do something to my boy before he leaves, man. They're trying to crock him before he goes. But yeah, no. Hopefully the injury ain't too bad. He can be back firing soon. Hopefully it doesn't affect him too much because hamstring injuries, especially when they're recurring, can really like be
Yeah,
a problem for players. So yeah, but that's it for the Premier League games. Of course, we got to talk about the AFCON. Nigeria in the final, and bro, I couldn't even watch this game. I was actually upset. I booked my trim like 3 weeks ago on
mm,
for yesterday, and I didn't even think about the time and like how it would clash or whatever. And like I'm on my way. Obviously, we scored. I'm on my way back now. Yeah, we're 1-0
yeah.
up. I see on the football notification 2-0 Osimhen on the
Osimhen.
train. Yes. Like yeah, we're going to the final. Yeah, we go under a tunnel. I regain signal again. It's 1-1. I'm thinking,
Oh
AFCON,
my
how
days.
have you done this to me? Why? Not on today of all days. You want to do this to me? But no, I know you caught their game. What did you make of our performance? I only managed to catch the second half of extra time, and of course the penalty
Yeah.
shootout. Yeah,
I was gonna say that refereeing performance was amazing.
yeah, I've
Amazing.
heard
That
all the right calls.
that VAR call was that's something I never thought I would see. Like
Yeah,
they're looking at the what's it called, the goal, and then everyone's going crazy. Like Osimhen's gone. I can't like even that shot. Osimhen nearly missed. Like he was trying to miss. Like the shot was.
bro,
I
back
was
of the
like,
net,
come
man.
on, yeah. But and then take him to VAR all the way up the other end, and they see a clear foul. And I'm like, oh wow,
Uh,
that's good. I can't lie. That's how, and that's the thing. Like these are the type of refs we need. Like people like to blame VAR and stuff, but it's literally just the refs we have in the Prem.
yeah,
Like they take like a whole 10 minutes to come to a decision on something, and then they make the wrong decision. Like I don't know. It's just I don't know. These refs like they see the things. There's no like bias. There's no like do you know what I mean? Just do their job. They just say, okay, there's a mistake here. Let's correct the mistake. Let's play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't take forever to reach solution either. But I thought the game very interesting. This is my first time like watching South Africa. I was rooting for South Africa, obviously, but like this is my first time like watching them play. And I don't know, it's like I expected a bit more. Like I thought they were pretty good, but I don't know. I just expected a bit more like in the final fight. I expected to be a bit more potent. Like, you know, they had I think his name is Percy Tau. I think he's played for
Yeah.
Brighton. Like I expected him to do a bit better. They got a guy called McQuay now, he's really good. I enjoyed him. But I don't know. It was an interesting game. I think it kind of came down to sort of the same thing that it's been all season. Not all season, all tournament practically, which is that Nigeria being strong at the back. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Pretty sure you got, is it Semi and Jay at the back? I thought you done
Yeah.
well.
It's a Jai, Bassi, Chusta Kong, my
Yeah,
captain, bro.
yeah,
Skipper.
yeah. Solid, solid, solid.
Yeah.
I don't know. It came out to the same sort of thing. I like Ola Aina as well.
Yeah.
I don't think, I don't know. Osimhen's kind of been surprising me a bit this tournament. Like I don't think he's been that great in front of goal and stuff. Like he's missed a few chances here and there. But I thought in this game, like when he won the penalty for your first goal, I'm pretty sure, great play. Like drags the ball
Yeah.
back, takes it past the man, wins the foul. Like I thought he did what he needed to do. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But overall, it came down to that penalty decision sort of taking to extra time. I don't think if they didn't VAR that and grab that penalty decision, even if Osimhen missed that chance to make it 2-0, which was then chalked off, I still wouldn't have seen South Africa scoring anyway. I know
Mm.
at the end they did have a massive chance. I don't know how he missed that.
Yeah.
It was a huge chance. I don't know how he missed that.
Bro.
That should have been it. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think you guys did enough. And I think I didn't watch the Congo and Ivory Coast game, but I don't know, man. It's not looking good for this final, man. I can't even watch the game, so I'm just gonna have to find out afterwards because it's not looking good, and I can't have Nigeria going for I think number 4 now.
Yeah, man. We'll tell you, man,
Nah, I
if we
can't
get
have that
there.
happening, man. That can't run. Not. I need Ivory Coast to do something in their home country, man. They need to get their fans on their side and make things
Mm.
happen, man. Bro, it's
Yeah,
not looking good.
nice. It's an interesting one. Of course, like you say, with our defense this tournament, it's been incredible. I've got to shout out Stanley Nwabali, bro, our goalkeeper.
Yeah, solid.
We've not had a good goalkeeper since Enyema, bro. Like honestly, it's been tough. Do you remember the game? It was qualified for the 2022 World Cup, Nigeria Ghana, bro. The howler that my man made, bro. My
Partey
head
long
was
shot.
hot that day,
Partey
man.
long shot, bro.
My head was hot that day. Party shooting from 40 yards for Arsenal all season is going into Rose Ed, and the one time it's on target, you
Oh,
can't do anything about it. Come on, man. You should that, bro. But it's good to have a goalkeeper that I'm confident in. Do you know what I mean? In between the sticks, I was still a bit nervous for penalties because I mean, I don't know the fact that Osimhen don't take penalties just kind of
yeah.
irks me a little bit. Like I don't think he's a confident penalty taker. I think he's taken a few for Napoli. I think his record's a bit patchy, but so I was kind of like, I wasn't too sure. South Africa, obviously, they were hyping up their guy, Williams or whatever. But we got that guy out there, man. Couldn't do nothing in the penalty shootout. Yeah, man, through to the final. I agree with what you said about Osimhen in front of goal. I feel like he's been a bit, yeah, he's not been himself, to be honest. I think we've created a lot of chances for him crossing the ball with our wing backs, Ola Aina and like Moses Simon and stuff have been good on the wings, good putting their balls into the box. And like he's winning the headers because he can jump higher than anyone else. But it's like I don't know what's off for him right now in terms of in front of goal. But I think his all-round play this tournament has been fantastic. Like the way he's pressed out possession, worked to win the ball back, even like small bits of link up here and there, running behind, run the channels, like and then giving the ball off to someone else, working to win the ball back. He slipped through Lookman for, I think we've got against Cameroon, hustle defender, got the ball back, slipped him through. We scored, I think, and obviously, as you said, did a nice bit of work to win the penalty um, in the game yesterday. So, yeah, I think overall, I'd say he's had a good tournament, but like we need him to kick in front of goal. And if there's any time for us to happen, it's the final against Ivory Coast. I need him to show up in that game. Somebody's gonna be there, gonna be watching National Idol. You need to show him what you're made of. Do you know what I'm saying? In his hometown, his own country. We beat them in this tournament before already. So I don't know. I don't know if I can say I'm confident. Because
Mm.
Ivory Coast, man, after barely making it out of the group stage and then sucking their manager mid tournament, they've had the craziest new manager bounce, bro. They've just been on a on a on a run, and it's a weird one because I think yeah they've just been kind of getting over the line. It was 1-1 Senegal beating them on penalties, 2-1 against Mali, and then obviously 1-0 against Congo here. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. Ivory Coast, of course, you have a lot of quality. Haller scored in the game yesterday against Congo. He'll be a threat. You've got obviously the likes of Kessié, Fofana, Adingra, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a big game, man. But hopefully the boys can get us over the line, bring them the fourth. Do you know what I mean? Let's do it again. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, hopefully we can get the dub. Would you? Well, in a non-biased way. Who do you see winning this final?
Bro, Nigeria got it, bro. 5-0 win. 5-0 win. They're gonna bring
You
on.
think I
They're gonna
don't know
bring
what you're
on.
doing there?
Bro,
You think I
they're gonna
don't know
bring
what you're
on.
doing there?
You guys are bringing on Onuachu and Chukwueze. They're both scoring after. It's gonna be 3-0 already, and then you're gonna bring them on at halftime, and they're gonna add to it. It's gonna
Hmm,
completely wipe their hands with them. It's gonna be embarrassing. It's gonna
I don't
be.
know
It's
what
gonna.
game. Yeah, interesting.
Huh?
I don't know what game you're playing there. Interesting.
Bro, 5-0.
Interesting.
5-0. I might as well bet on it at this point, man. But yeah, man. Nah, I think Nigeria will win there. I can't lie. I don't see them. I don't see like do this defensive record as well. Like I don't think. Nah, I think Nigeria will. Which is sad,
Yeah.
man. Should have never let it get this far. You should have never allowed this to happen. Man.
You can't stop us, man. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you guys for listening. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Until next time, we're out.